All right. Let me grab this. So this is the part of the video where it kind of stops being a vlog and turns into more of a photo review, because I didn't show you nearly as many photos as I took. And I think it's kind of cool and important for other photographers to see the process of which it takes to get one good image out of a bunch, right? I took at least hundreds of photos in Kyoto and thousands across the 2 weeks in Japan. And I've only posted maybe 10, 15. So what I'm trying to show you, I guess, is the process of going from thousands of photos down to the ones that you end up editing and posting, and why you select which photo. So let's get into it, huh? Pretty exciting stuff. If this stuff isn't all that interesting to you and you were just here for the vlog, that's totally okay. I just ask that before you leave, if possible, give me a like or subscribe. It'd mean a lot. Anyway, so as far as Kyoto goes, photos really don't start until about day 3, which is my last full day in Kyoto, because I just couldn't really find the motivation to take any photos. You saw all the video in that vlog, but photo-wise, this is kind of where it starts. I wanted to do something kind of memorable for my last day, so I decided, let me try to figure out this train system one more time so that I can go see one of Kyoto's biggest staples / picture taking locations, which is called Senbon Torii Gates, also commonly known as Thousand Torii Gates. I'm willing to bet you've probably seen images of this place. If not, you might have even been to this place. It was something that I knew I wanted to see, and regardless of how I was going to get there, I was going to go see it. And I had the whole morning to myself, so I woke up, got out of the hotel, and I just started navigating. I used Google Maps, and it said 20-minute train ride. Go down to the station. I'd been in that station before. Hop on this one train, take it all the way down to the gates, hop off, you're good to go. Seems simple. It never is. What was a 20-minute commute kind of turned into more of like an hour and 20-minute commute, roughly, which when you're solo, that's fine. Was a little bit frustrating. Ended up paying for a day pass that didn't work for the trains I was on. That was a waste, but luckily everything's cheap in Japan, so not too much of a waste. But basically, went down into the subway, went back up, went down again, finally figured out which ticket to buy, and then hopped on a train, hopped off a train, hopped on the wrong train, hopped off at the wrong time, couldn't find my way out, and then eventually just found an exit nearest me and walked out, navigated to the location, and it said about a 35-minute walk, which fine by me, you know, like that's manageable. I can walk for 30 minutes as long as I don't have to go in any of those goddamn subway systems again. I'm happy. But basically, coming out of the subway system and starting my walk leads us to this first photo that you see here. Just an alleyway of homes, and it was more so just testing out my camera just to get everything ready for the day, because I did have plans to actually take photos today, so it was different. Nothing really too remarkable about this photo. It's got nice leading lines. This is unedited. Most of these are going to be unedited. You'll see the unedited versions, and then if I did like one, you'll see that one as well, so you can kind of see how I picked what. Not the worst photo I've ever seen in my life, but not worth editing either, so I just moved on from that one. And then the second photo I took of the day actually ended up being one that I posted, and it's one of my favorites. And funny enough, I skipped over the first couple rounds of going through and rating the photos, because I don't know if you can see, it's mostly out of focus. Like, there are some things in focus. Honestly, the background window, a little bit of the truck, maybe this. I must have had a pretty high f-stop. What I was saying is, when I was looking at this photo in color, I'm like, nah, out of focus. Kind of a cool action, cool enough composition. You got this light bar that I wasn't really noticing when it was still colored. But then I came across a video or a post somewhere. It was making fun of photographers for making their photos black and white when it's out of focus, because it kind of hides it. And I'd never heard that before, because I haven't really dabbled too much with black and white. I'm mostly a colored photographer, digital photographer, a digital color photographer. When I heard that, I'm like, huh, let me test it out. And I tried it out with a couple images from other places in Japan, and I'm like, oh, this actually, there might be something to this. Was going back through images again, kind of making sure I caught everything. And I see this one again, I'm like, all right, let me try that little trick, black and white trick, of which I tossed a couple edits on it, and it's honestly one of my favorites, like from all of Kyoto. It's just like, it's got such an honest vibe to it, despite me just kind of saying I tricked people into thinking it was a good photo by making it black and white. It just feels honest, like this kind of blurred man working, looking at something with this perfect white bar of light, just kind of illuminating and reflecting off all the chrome on the truck and all that. And it goes so deep in the depth of it, like, and there's just kind of like a lot to look at. It's fun to look at. If you ever have an image that you're like, maybe, don't really like it, make it black and white, especially if it's out of focus. You never know. Moving on. So yeah, this is unedited. This is kind of me continuing to walk. There's a big overpass here, and I saw some mountains in the background, but I just didn't have the lens capacity to make anything cool out of that. So got a couple images and kept moving. I came to this kind of aesthetic moped scooter, and I'm like, It's kind of cool. Grabbed an image of it. Nothing remarkable. This one's okay. You got the vending machine in the background kind of telling you you're in Japan because those are so iconic. More or less, there's nothing standing out to me about keeping this image, so I moved on. Same with this one, even worse. And this is like a really dark image of the inside of where the scooter's at. You can barely see it probably from your angle, but yeah, nothing here. Same here, pretty washed out. There's just like a lot of distractions. Not really like an obvious subject matter. I mean, you got the river, you got the bridge, but it's just like, who cares, right? So I did learn later though that this river is pretty iconic and a lot of amazing festivals and celebrations happen here, and also a lot of bloody massacres have happened here. So a lot of history in this river. And right about here, for these first images that you've seen so far, it was kind of like desolate. Like there were one, maybe two people walking around, like really nothing happening for the most part. Had okay vibes, just very somber. And then very, very quickly, pretty much as soon as I crossed this red bridge here, the entire vibes just changed. It was 0 to 100 in like less than 100 yards. And that meant that I was getting close. So here, we're crossing the bridge, you see some taco trucks, it's getting a little more lively. And then you hit the first gate and it's just rows of markets and people and stands and shops and all sorts of things. Tourist trap galore. Grabbed a couple images here. It just wasn't really speaking to me when I was looking at these, and it still really isn't. It's a fine image, but it's got a couple faces in it that I wouldn't want to deal with. It's just, there's nothing remarkably composition wise that's cut off on the ends here. So I just moved on. Same here. This is just kind of showing more of the market. Again, nothing really remarkable. Cool, but not edit worthy. Same. And this one, I started to kind of like it a little bit more than the previous photos. This one is a little bit edited, but it's not the one I chose. So this one's fine, but I don't like having people's faces so obviously in there unless it's like a portrait, you know? So I didn't love this one, moved on. Definitely not this one. Still not loving it. Started to move over to the center. I'm like, all right, we probably just need to center this building up underneath the gate, and that will be our composition. So I kind of moved there, tried to work around some people, and boom, that's kind of like the first alignment. And then bang, turn your camera horizontal, get the full width of the gate as much as possible, center this building within it with breathing room all around. And then cropping it, you just kind of want to bring it in to be as even on either side as possible. And then I just did like a little bit of AI cleaning up around the edges for like random distracting things like signs and whatnot, especially that sign you probably saw right here, which interestingly is a sign telling you not to walk and eat. You're supposed to stop, eat your food, and then continue on your walking. And that's kind of a social expectation somewhat across Japan, but especially in these temples and especially in Kyoto, that's true. So yeah, this is one that I did end up selecting for my final gallery. And then this is pretty much same image, just unedited. Got to this kind of thing. I was kind of warming up here. I wasn't so sure. There's some areas of temples, and especially Kyoto, where you're not allowed to take images. And I was kind of feeling it out right here of like, is this allowed? Is this not? So I was trying not to like make it obvious that I was getting people in the photos. And this is me doing that. Nothing crazy special about this image. Just one of these lantern things with a cool thing. I mean, it's not the worst image in the world. Like, it's kind of cool. You got half close up, half in the distance, and it's a lot to look at, but it's not clean enough. This one was cool, but it wasn't like necessarily cool enough to edit. So I just kind of half edited it, copy, paste edit, and got it. This guy's obviously too much in there, and I might AI remove him if I were to post it, but I like the composition, I like the colors, and I like these two people kind of staring up at it, giving it that perspective of height and size. Yeah, this one, I mean, it's fine. I like the branch going out in the background, kind of leading up to the corner. And obviously the subject is right there and obvious, but it's just the lighting is, it's not lighting. Let's just say that. Same here, random test image going up to the gates. I feel like sometimes when you see like a really cool picture opportunity, you start taking pictures before you actually get to the spot where you're really gonna take the photo. And sometimes it works. Sometimes you just get random shit like this. One of those, here we are. This is the first image of the gates that I'd say is okay. You got the leading line all the way back. You can barely see where it ends. You got something up in this corner, kind of filling it. You got the nice gold here in focus. You got people taking images. This guy's kind of in the way, but if I were to edit this, I would tilt it a little bit, maybe do a perspective warp, maybe not, and then do some color correction on it. Interestingly, I was kind of switching back and forth on my Sony from video to photo, and when that happens, I sometimes forget to change the shutter speed back up to high when I'm taking photos. So this photo was actually taken in 1/50th of a second at f6.3, and it's surprisingly in focus. I must have had some steady hands that morning, because I'm impressed. Because this one's in 1/160. So still a little slow, honestly, but steady-ish hands. This is also 1/150, kind of same image. This one I'm liking better immediately just because there's no faces directly in front of me. And you can see the subject matter itself is completely in focus while the people are kind of blurred due to that accidental 1/50. So happy accidents, Bob Ross style. Again, I would need to edit this to know for sure if I like it, but it's just such a routine image for photographers and tourists coming here that I almost just don't care enough to edit it, because this is the first gate you enter. This is where everyone stops to take photos, and I know there's a billion photos exactly like this out there, and that's why I'm just kind of meh about it. That's a good point to bring up, because the only one I did edit from this bunch before we entered the gates was this one, because it's slightly more unique. And of course, I'm not the first person to ever take a photo of someone taking a photo, but if it's between a normal composition photo of the entrance with people walking through, nothing special, or something a little extra where you can kind of see what's going on up top, it's leading off, but it's not showing you everything, which brings you down to the photo, which kind of shows you the rest and shows you the perspective. It's getting two different focal lengths in one, so that's why I love it, and that's why I edited it. But again, not my favorite photo I took. I'm just looking for something that not every photographer has already taken. A couple more, didn't edit, I think, a lot of the ones in the next pile. Kind of cool, not unique, too many faces, too many signs. This one's kind of cool just to show the perspective and how many gates there actually are. But again, I mean, this is just ugly and dirty. I'd probably take that out, obviously. A couple there, more perspective shots, but not really any good lighting. I don't know why I'm taking pictures of these strangers, more strangers. And this is kind of right where you saw me take that turn from the gates off into the bamboo forest area, of which not a whole lot of people were taking. Like, kind of looked like, you saw on the camera, it kind of looked like random trail, like maybe don't go up that trail type of thing, but it didn't have any signs saying don't go, and I took that as my permission, and I'm glad I did, because that was probably the coolest part. Like, the gates were cool, but leading into what we're about to do I think was even cooler, and I like the photos even more. So let's see what those look like. These ones are kind of okay. Got that height perspective. You saw me in the vlog kind of taking these photos, and then boom, I walk up the hill and I'm like, whoa, bamboo in real life. It leaves and breathes. I also just noticed there's a bunch of stones laid in the corner right here. Don't know what that is. But yeah, then we get to the bamboo. And this was really cool for me. Obviously the gates were new to me, but it wasn't new to many other people. Like, everyone's seen photos of the 1,000 gates. It's cool, but there's only so many unique shots you can get. Bamboo, something I've never seen before, and not something that I see photos of all that often. So when I saw this, I was like, boom, glad I took that path less traveled. Edward Snowden, or whatever his name is, the author. You kind of see in the video too, you can see these two trees, and this is really what was calling my attention in this photo. I mean, we were surrounded by bamboo, so like, how do you find a composition within a forest, right? You start looking for things that are a little different. This palm tree was a little different. Don't think it's a palm tree, but it looks like one. And then these sticks. I thought they were just kind of making a cool composition, the way this one's leaning, the way this one's kind of straight, and they're different colors, kind of contrasting with the background. Also, a background of which seems to have kind of a trail, not one that you're allowed to go on. This is a rope down here that you can't see, but kind of a trail that's lined with cut down bamboo, which is leading the viewer back, right? So I thought this was kind of a cool composition, and I think I took a bunch of different types of photos. This one's out of focus. It was a little bit dark, but I knew if I'm shooting in RAW, I could bring that exposure way up, or then the shadows and the highlights, and not even really worry about it. But you still can't go too dark, and you can't go too bright. You just want to have a nice range of things. And usually I do bracketing. This isn't the camera that I usually do bracketing on, so it wasn't on it. But if you don't know what bracketing is, basically every 3 clicks is a different exposure. So you got the middle 0, 0 exposure, and then the next click is an exposure up, and then the next click is an exposure down. One stop down, one stop up. So you get 3 images at 3 different exposures. For me, that covers my bases and makes sure that I'm getting both the composition and the exposure right. And it just gives me options. You're getting the highlights in exposure, you're getting the shadows in exposure, you're getting everything that needs to be seen in exposure. For it to work well, you need to have a tripod, essentially, and then put it on a timer. So that's a little lesson on bracketing. Okay, here we are. I'm liking the exposure of this better already than these. These were a little dark. I think this one is the first one that I'm like, okay, kind of cool. A little bit of a composition going with this thing going across. That means I'll probably keep taking this one's out of focus. No black and white would save that out of focus. Kind of low contrast. Bang. We get to the one I edited, and obviously big difference from here to here. A lot more color in the greens, in the browns, and the oranges, and the yellows. You can see the mulch down here, and it really just allows the viewer to get that depth. One thing to note too when editing is I don't edit on this monitor. I edit on my laptop, right? Because the majority of people are going to be viewing on their phones, and the majority of phone users have iPhones. So using the Apple ProRes display is the best way to go about color grading, because that's how you're going to get the most authentic and fluent color translation from your screen to the viewer's screen. Just something to note. But this one was taken at 1/200 at 1000 ISO at f5.6. Here's one that, like, it took me a while, I think, until I cropped it vertically to realize that it actually was a pretty cool image. And I sometimes forget why I took an image, because you see things in person that you don't see on the screen. And for me, that was this one isolated random bamboo shoot that has these things like kind of sprouting out of it evenly, along with the fact that we have these trees that are real nice up close to us, kind of leading back towards that, including here. So we have the nice framing, and it's kind of like rounding out the trees are, the depth of them to this one point. I think you'll see that I ended up cropping a lot of this greenery out because it was just distracting. I think it's cool to get the depth down here, but there's just a little bit too much going on. I think I cropped that out to try to isolate more on the focus and the subject, which is this. And here's a vertical version, which I think I like better because it gets rid of some of that noise and distraction, and it frames nicely. You get the top of the tree that we were under as the top of the composition, and then we continue to have our borders created by the way the bamboo is laid, and then cutting it off here. And I think, yeah, this one is the edited one. That's how I selected that one. Coming up here, you'll see I got it on video actually, the cat kind of crawling over the fence. And then I walk a little bit further and I'm like, hey, yo, that cat's still walking. And I got a camera. So I took some photos. This is what came of that. You got that nice little POV of my dimple. Hope you liked that. Here's the first attempt. Cat isn't quite out of the bamboo yet, so I just didn't edit that one. And here is the edited one. So the cat is walking into the gap. I took the picture as centered as I possibly could. I waited half a millisecond later. Might have been a little bit better. Pretty cool photo overall. A couple distractions here and there. I don't think it's my favorite photo, but because of the subject matter, because of the alignment of the cat, which you can't tell a cat to do that, I think that's what makes such a good photo. And then here's its head behind there. Didn't edit that one. This one kind of would have been cool as well, but the cat is out of focus. Black and white? Nah, just kidding. And this brings us to some more close-up, lower f-stop shots that I was trying to get. And this camera lens only goes down to a 5.6 f-stop, which for those of you who know, it's not that low. I have other lenses that go down like 1.2, 1.8, create that real heavy depth of field with the blur in the background. You know the deal. But you can still get that effect with a 5.6. You just got to kind of get close to the subject and have something to actually blur. Looks like I did forget to switch back to a higher shutter speed once again, because we're at 1/60 for this photo, ISO of 250, and f-stop 5.6, like I said. Must have had steady hands, because it's really not bad. But I was trying to kind of create this composition of these two bamboo shoots that are very different. One of them is different green, has these etchings all over it, and it's kind of going up into the left. And then this other one that's straight as a pole and has the word matte into it, which weirdly enough, you saw in the video, when I got back from this temple, the restaurant that I got invited to was Matte Japan Inc. All capital, just the word matte. So it's kind of a weird symbolic thing. Didn't realize it until I got back. But yeah, this one's bad, probably because I'm still at 1/60. And then here, I'm like, okay, let me try the same composition wider and then have the background in focus instead of the foreground. I think that creates kind of a cool image. It really shows you the depth here, and there's a lot to look at. It's just something that's not quite right about it, though. I feel like the out of focus is cool, but it's not what this image needed. I keep taking that and boom. So while I wasn't a huge fan of the out of focus here, once I edited it, I think I was a bigger fan. One, because now the etchings are able to stand out more, and two, is just I was able to kind of crop in, have this go straight out into the corner, which is a nice composition. Have this one in the right vertical third, and then everything behind it is nice and crisp, and you get this nice bright corner up here, and it kind of leads down to the dark, and I think it looks nice, and there's a lot to look at, and composition is clean. It's not too busy, but still interesting. And here's just some other attempts. So after grabbing a couple more of those, this is one that I think I did edit, but I didn't end up putting into the final gallery. I can't remember why, because I do like it, but it didn't end up being top. Right? I think I edited this one. I would probably AI remove this gate over here just because it's not serving any purpose. But yeah, like I said, not a bad image, just not one that I really kept. And I still see that I guess this lens goes down to a 4 f-stop at its lowest, not a 5.6. But you'll see I'm still in 1/60. You might not see that, but I see that. And I can't believe I got so many okay images considering. And this leads us to the setup of one of my favorite shots I think I got within the bamboo forest. And I thought it was cool, one, because it just kind of split right down the middle here. Here's the edited one that splits right down the middle, this bamboo, and then this path that creates depth. So you kind of got this close side and this far side. They're different depths. They're different. And I think maybe I didn't crop in quite enough, but it's still, you get the purpose. I probably need to take out that power line too. You get the point. Split right down the middle, 2 halves. It just looks cool and it looks good. And I almost took out these ropes, but I honestly like the yellow. It's my photo. Definitely, I'd say top 10 for bamboo shoot. Here's a couple that were just neither here nor there. This one was kind of interesting, I think. I don't think I got an actual in-focus shot of it, and I wish I did, but it just kind of looks cool. It's like, I don't know, the dichotomy, whatever. Out of focus, kind of cool. I like the contrast between the white bamboo and the green bamboo, but not cool enough to keep. This one's even better. It's more centered. I don't know, this one's pretty cool actually. If I took out that line, maybe the line's cool too. I don't know. See, this is what happens when you go through your images again and again with fresh eyes. Things change. But yeah, this house, nothing remarkable. I think I tossed an edit on one of these, but maybe not. Just fine. Big problem with this place is that there were power lines everywhere, which is kind of surprising, honestly. This one I thought was cool. I did edit one of these down the road. Kind of creates this cool composition with these gravestones, which I don't know if I recommend taking photos of gravestones. I didn't realize it was a gravesite until after, but it's also like a shrine, and you saw in the video, like I was putting wishes and all these things here, so I was being respectful at the same time. But this one is just cool. It has so much going on, and you got one of your subjects here, another kind of second subject here, all lined in between these rocks nicely, and got this kind of film the side, and this is the one that I ended up editing. So you got the cross kind of leading the viewer all to here. You got a triangle here, you got a triangle here. Triangles are good. Composition and triangles go together like sliced in a bread. Here's the same photo, but with the foreground in focus to the background, and then random photo, not good, not good. Here's some gates leading into the rest of the temple and the shrine, which this one's kind of cool. Like, because if you look really far back, you can start to see like some really interesting details, and it just goes for so long, and it's fine, but not cool enough. Took a couple there, took a couple there, took a couple there. Nothing good, nothing really in focus. That wire is the thing I'm seeing the most of. That one's fine, that one's fine. And then I think I edited this one, yeah, but I didn't take this out, which I would have, but I just think this one's kind of cool. There's nothing too much remarkable about it, but it does kind of almost hit a golden ratio. You got coming down here, and then you spiral over. This leads your eye up there. The trees block you there. The bamboo leaves wrap you down this way. You hit this, and you're kind of leaving here like, oh, that's cool, that's cool. And you keep going over, and you're like, whoa, look at that bamboo, look at the depth of it. And you wrap all the way around to the thing that's in the center, which is kind of here. Not really a great subject matter, but it kind of lets you get down in here as well. It's almost a golden spiral. Not quite, I won't claim it is, but it makes you think. Here's some non-edited. Really diving into that one. Another gravesite, nothing special here. That one's kind of cool, but I don't really like it. Nothing too special. Trying to go for some sort of composition here using the gate. Again, nothing too special. There were a billion gates everywhere, as you'll see in some of these photos. Out of focus, nothing special. This is where I think the clouds parted a little bit and the sun started to come out and the photos started to look better. I'm like, oh, maybe it isn't me. This one's starting to look cool already, just with the brightness that you're seeing here, and it's shining into its background. I think these are ones that I was really close to editing, and then I didn't, but I still like looking at them. This is one with the background focus instead of the foreground. Reverse, looks fine. I took a lot here, but there just wasn't quite a good enough composition for me to commit. This one's pretty cool too. Again, I think it's the lighting helped a lot, but it kind of tricks the viewer a little bit because they're used to seeing these gates as something somebody could walk through, and this one was probably 2 feet tall. So getting low, showing the size of the trees and showing the tops of them leading up and stuff, it just kind of provides for like an interesting perspective. We kind of get the light shining down here, over here in the corner. And I didn't end up editing those ones, but with the same lighting, I hopped over and found this rock that I kind of liked the composition of, the way they were formed. And I did edit most of these, I think. And you can kind of see the difference. So here's like a lower exposure, and this is out of focus, out of focus. This one's in focus, but kind of a higher exposure, really getting a good idea of what this building looks like back here. And then kind of getting the overpowered highlights over here with whatever this stone structure is. And then you're also really getting a good look at the moss that's all over the trees and all that stuff that you see here. It's everywhere, and it's really cool looking. This is probably one of my favorites of the bunch. It's just very ethereal. Here's kind of like a warmer one position, like kind of moving around, getting all different sorts of things. That's where you leave with that. But out of all of those images, I ended up selecting just this one out of all of those. Reason being, things were just composing well. The tree was blocking off this right corner to create the right triangle. The text that I can't read was going down more or less the center of here. The shadows were good. The highlights were pretty much good. They're maybe a little bit too bright, but they're pretty much good. And then everything else was just, you can see it. You can see everything. That's why I chose this one. And then we go back to that same place we were just at with the mini gate, trying to get another one. Didn't work. This one, nothing special. Too bright, too shadowy. This one's kind of cool. It shows a lot of the different heights and depth that this was doing, but maybe just for like a Google Maps photo. Nothing better. Yeah, nothing great. Again, same thing. It was really hard to pick a subject here. Like, as you can see, there's a million different things facing a million ways, going up, going down, shapes, sizes, circles, triangles, everything. So like your brain was overwhelmed by the different compositions that were possible, that it was hard to find just one because there were just so many. One was attempting to be cool, but got caught in the act. This one I think is almost cool. I think it's just a little too bright for my liking to edit it, but I like the way the light is kind of hitting through these twisted roots and stuff. Yeah, just didn't really get anything focused there. I think I was getting tired and kind of hungry by this point, so getting a little sloppy with it. And then we kind of get to the upper part where we can kind of look down, and that's when I'm starting to kind of see some better things there of being able to get something good. And these are the ones I'm talking about. So you already saw it in the video, but this is probably one of my favorites just because it actually shows like a full area and your brain can comprehend what it looks like rather than having those up close, low f-stop, long depth, leading line shots. It provides context for the photos that I was just showing you, essentially. Here's just some unedited versions, unedited. This one might be quote edited actually. Yeah, like this. Just like nice shadows, nice light. It's going from light to dark. So many distractions still, but you know, if I really wanted to, I could take those out. Unused, too bright, not any good lighting. There's also something to say about the one, these being distractions, but two, like the contrast between this old gravestone-esque old trees that have grown anywhere they want to these electric poles and these wires and metal poles and stuff. Like getting those two things in the same image and not having it be off or not getting the environment ruined is really hard. And you kind of see it here too, like this big metal pole. That's a big reason why I don't like this. Like it doesn't speak the same language as if I were to crop that out and you just have these temples and stuff like that. Like it changes everything. And it's kind of a cool perspective-ish, not cool enough. And this is kind of where I wandered down that random road that I wasn't supposed to go down. Took some photos of some bamboo that didn't turn out anything cool. I mean, if you like looking into bamboo, I guess it's cool, but that's about it. And then what you didn't see in the video, for one, these, and then I leave the shrine. I don't take any photos or videos on my walk back. I arrive at pretty much the end of the gate where the bathrooms are. So I go to the bathroom because I had to pee. I come out of the bathroom and I see a moped. Who doesn't love taking pictures of mopeds? I know I do. And this one happened to be parked right next to the gates. And I'm like, I know this is my opportunity to get a photo that not every person can get because that moped probably isn't parked there all the time. I don't know why it was parked there. I think it was a worker's. It was an opportunity for me to get something unique that not everyone is going to get. So I spent a decent amount of time here and tried a lot of different things, but I ended up keeping a lot of them because I loved them. If you can't see from back there, in the reflection in here of a mirror, you see the gates. So I was looking for different comps. This one I edited. I really like this one. It doesn't have any huge distractions in the background and just kind of draws your eye straight to it. But you see those wires in that pole and I'm just not really a huge fan. Here's a wider version of the same thing. Here's me taking a photo of just what the thing actually is so that I could provide context when I was posting it. The one I used, I took out the people. This is the one I used. And you can see people are removed there, but that's pretty much all I removed. I didn't even bother with the wire here. Here's kind of like a top down of the mirror. This one I really like. I kind of created like an I heart KYOTO graphic off of that one. I don't know. It looks like a heart to me. More of an anatomical heart than anything, or maybe more of like a Chili's logo than anything, but it kind of looks like a heart to me. So I thought that was cool. Unedited, edited, unedited, edited. Here's another one where it shows the gates in the background and in the mirror in focus. Kind of cool. And then here's one of a dude standing, kind of giving you the size perspective. Thought that was cool. And he's facing away, so that's nice. More. This one's, I could see myself keeping that one. Out of focus, out of focus, out of focus, out of focus, out of focus. Out of focus. I think it was having a hard time locking in through the mirror at times for all of these actually. Back to what I was doing before. This one's edited. This one's pretty nice. Got nice lighting on it and nothing special. Too many distractions, too many distractions, too many distractions. And then I'm like, all right, let's get both the mirrors in here. So it was placed perfectly. Like I was able to get both of them in each mirror here. This one's cool because you got like all the red accents of not only the gates, but also the carabiner. Yeah, that was like the last image I took. And then headed over the bridge. So yeah, that's kind of, I don't know how long that took, probably a long time. But if you're wondering how I picked the images that I picked, we just went through 254 images. And out of all of those, I've probably only pulled 10, 15. That's the life of a photographer, at least a digital photographer. You don't always get it on the first try. That's a lesson for today. Now.